Check 1, 2. Guys, what is it? What is it, Louis? I'll send it to you right now. I'm having trouble with the video. Don't be sorry. It's not your fault, but I really need to be concentrating on this. Hey, how are you? You might want to unmute yourself, Ron.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh, very, very good. That is a lot better. I see you have the Carol Baskin national flag in back of you.
Yes, right. I love tigers. My
So
favorite.
does she. Her husband or ex-husband, perhaps not so much.
Yeah. Do you live in the Philadelphia area?
Yes, I'm from Philadelphia and I live in Wallingford, or as I call it, Wally World.
Okay. Yeah, I lived in Philly for 30 years, born in West Philly,
Oh,
lived in
where?
Misericordia Hospital.
Okay.
And then my parents moved to Olney.
I
I,
lived in East Oak Lane, right near Olney.
yeah. And I went to Cardinal Dougherty High School. And then,
Like a lot of people.
yeah, and then Drexel for a couple of years. And then when I was 30, I moved to Tampa, and I've been here ever since.
Well, yeah, my wife keeps wanting me to go down there. She was, for a time, an assistant principal at Dougherty before it closed.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's a very interesting city with a lot of history and a lot of interesting connections because it is very much a city of neighborhoods and things of that nature. So,
right.
um, it's very cool. Very nice to meet you in person.
Yeah,
And,
likewise. I've enjoyed some of your musical things in the last year or two on Singing Friends. I
oh
love
yeah.
I love your posts, and I uh, about within the last year or last 2 years, I noticed you had a gig. I think in King of Prussia,
At
and
Eddie V's, yeah.
that's why I thought you might be from the Philadelphia area.
I am. My entire family is. You know, it's one of those cities where people kind of don't leave, um, and when they do, a lot of times they find their way back. For example, Bobby Rydell, after he went out to Hollywood, he still lives not far from where I live. He lives in
Yeah,
this area. A lot of athletes, even after they leave here, if they finish their career somewhere else, they move back here. Uh, there's a lot of wonderful things in this city, and it's a
yes,
great place to raise a family um, because it has all of the accoutrements of a large city, but it's still got a neighborhood feel and small town feel, and the suburbs are quite lovely. I'm very. It's interesting. You're here, but I see you here, so that's why I'm not. So I have to get used to speaking directly to the camera. That way, you don't think I'm not looking you in the eye or that I'm a shady politician, which I repeat myself. Um, but yeah, it's a wonderful city. The reason I
I
asked
agree.
where in West Philly is my wife is currently the principal at West Catholic High. So I was thinking maybe you had gone there, that you were an alum. But anyway,
No,
you didn't come to hear me talk. Uh,
but it's
so
very nice to meet you, and I look forward to hearing you. And
yeah, it's going to be fun. And think let me admit several more people that have come in. I think I see uh, James, or at least I see your name, James. I see my son Lewis on there, and I don't see you in the upper left-hand corner. I don't see your name, and I didn't catch it when I admitted. So I don't think me rude, but what's your name, just so I can get it? And I'm unmuting you right now. Upper left-hand corner, the the nicely coiffed lady, and I know that's not my son. And James, I know you still have long hair, but it's definitely not you. Although you are nicely coiffed.
Thank you.
What's the name in the upper left-hand corner? I didn't catch the name when I admitted everyone. I assume no one was crashing the party or Zoom crashing or whatever it is, photo zooming or what's
Zoom
that term?
bombing.
Zoom. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Zoom bombing. What's your name, just so I can put a name to the face? Is that Pauline?
Oh, Pauline, yeah.
Pauline, I didn't recognize you without your hands on the piano.
I didn't know I was nicely coiffed.
Well, yeah, you're more nicely coiffed than me. Of course, I think everyone in this Zoom is
Just
more
needs to
nicely
be
coiffed than me.
used.
I mean, Ron
know?
has the tiger as a coif as well, which is very nice. I have my office, so you can see, as my wife says, it's a lovely manner of somewhat disarray, but that's kind of how I roll. And this is much neater than it was before lockdown. So, but it looks like I'll have more time to even go further into organizing. Anyway, so let's give this a shot. And certainly in between tunes, I'd love to continue talking with you and conversing. I want this to feel as much like a salon or a saloon or as if we were on a gig and interacting, as opposed to you just sitting back and listening. Anyway, so here it is. The first tune I was going to do for you is a wonderful Cole Porter tune. It's one I love to do on gigs, and it's from a movie called Born to Dance, which I certainly was not. I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I tried not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't gonna go so well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know damn well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near. Spite of warning voice comes in the night, it repeats, yells in my ear. Don't you know you never can win? Use your mentality, wake up to reality. And each time that I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near. Spite of a warning voice comes in the night, it repeats, yells in my ear. Don't you know you ain't got no way to win? Use your mentality, wake up, stand up to reality. And each time that I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Before I begin, 'cause I've got you, and I dig you, and I need you, and I want you, and I've got you under my skin, under my skin, under my skin, under my skin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Hey, Lou,
Yes.
you mentioned Carol Baskin from Tiger King.
Correctly, Carol Baskin. I'm cleaning that up because my son is on here. And so I'm not saying her, shall we say, nom de plume.
Yes, right. Well, I live, for the rest of you, I live in Tampa, and I have went to the Big Cat Rescue 8 or 9 years ago. I didn't see Carol.
Oh, what a shame.
But I did see the beautiful cats, and
they are beautiful. There's no
Yeah,
question of that.
there was some scenes that were a little misleading that she got annoyed with. The shot of either a lion or tiger drinking some water, and it looked like he was in this tiny little cage, and actually that wasn't the case. That was just a little cutout for the water bowl, and so it's not a bad place really.
Oh, no, listen, I'm sure just like with anything else, there are deceptive edits. Hi,
Right.
William. How are you? I see you down there.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Yeah, no, I got to tell you that show, my wife and I watched that, and for the first couple episodes, I have to say, we were wondering whether it was just gaslighting, that this was actually a performance and it wasn't real. And unfortunately, my brother-in-law grew up maybe 2 miles from Joe Exotic's ranch and drove by it all the time.
Oh, wow.
So it's amazing what a small in Oklahoma. So
Yeah.
he said, no, that's real. And it's like, oh dear Lord. Anyway, those of you that know me know I tend to really dig into the Great American Songbook, and I sometimes like doing things that are, shall we say, less traditional and less known. And this is a wonderful Dietz and Watson. I mean, Dietz and Schwartz. I call it Dietz and Watson. Because I love a good deli meat, as does Carol Baskin's Cats. So here is a wonderful song called If There Is Someone Lovelier Than You. Every day is a brand new day when you are mine. But the moment you go away, no sun will shine. Your love is my reward. Each night I thank the Lord. Tell me till time is done, we'll be one. If there is someone lovelier than you, then I am blind, a man without mind. If there is someone lovelier than you. But no, I am not blind. My eyes have traveled everywhere in hope that I might find a creature half so fair. If there is someone lovelier than you, by all that's beautiful, such beauty can't be true. But no, I am not blind. My eyes have traveled everywhere in hopes that I might find a creature half so fair. If there is someone lovelier than you, by all that's beautiful, by all that's beautiful, by all that's beautiful, such beauty can't be true. Thank you. Now, Pauline, you did another Dietz and Schwartz tune on your page. You did "Alone Together," which
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful tune for a lockdown and quarantine.
Exactly.
One of the podcasts I listen to is a podcast called Broadway to Main Street, and he did a quarantine podcast, and it was all songs like that. He did a wonderful Cole Porter song that I'd kind of forgotten. I'm not doing it tonight, but I'll have to pull it out. It's called So Near and Yet So Far. He also did another Cole Porter tune, Down in the Depths on the 90th Floor. He did the Johnny Hartman version, which I dearly love.
Yeah.
It was a cute show, and he did my favorite song from Young Frankenstein, the musical, not the movie. Please Don't Touch Me. I won't go into some of the lyrics there because we do have one underage customer here. And look, we have. Let me admit one more person here. Macy, I think I just admitted you. There you are. I see you. Hello, how are you? So I was just telling people about a podcast I was listening to, which was very much coronavirus centered on, but in a cheerful way because it was taking songs that would fit the coronavirus. And it was Please Don't Touch Me that I was referring to from Young Frankenstein, the musical.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping that clean because my son, you see the Louis Lanza there? That's my son. He can't hear some of the lyrics that were in that. He'll be old enough soon enough to hear that.
Right.
So I just did a Dietz and Schwartz tune called If There Is Someone Lovelier Than You. I'm going to do a Johnny Mercer, Harry Warren tune. I believe, and it may be, my brain going, but I believe this was in the movie version of the Bandwagon, but I could be mistaken because that was mainly Dietz and Schwartz. Either way, I remember the Fred Astaire version. I love Fred Astaire, great dancer, great singer.
That's two of us.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, and the stuff he did with Oscar Peterson, that's some hip stuff. If you know that stuff, it's some hip stuff. So here we go. This is I Want to Be a Dancing Man, which for those of you that are here at the beginning, I only danced when I was an actor because I had to. I was good enough to do it. I just did not like it at all. So here we go. I wanna be a dancing man while I can. I'm gonna leave my footsteps on the sands of time. If I never leave a dime, I'm never gonna be a millionaire. I don't care. I'll be rich as old King Midas might have been, at least until the tide comes in. Let other men build mighty nations and buildings to the sky. I'll leave a few creations to show that I was dancing by. I wanna be free as any bird can be, yes sirree. I'm gonna leave my footsteps on the sands of time. If I never leave a dime. Let other men build mighty nations and buildings to the sky. I'll leave a few creations to show that I was dancing by. I wanna be free as any man can be, yes sirree. I'm gonna leave my footsteps on the sands of time. If I never leave a dime, a dancing man with footsteps on the sands of rhythm and rhyme.
Right.
Thank you. How many of you are hip to that tune?
First time hearing it.
It's a great tune. The wonderful thing about Johnny Mercer is he wrote with so many people. I mean, he wrote with Jerome Kern, he wrote with Harry Warren, he wrote with Harold Arlen. I mean, the guy just wrote with Henry Mancini, just wrote with everyone, and it all worked. And then he, of course, he wrote a good number of songs by himself. I'd like to do one more Mercer tune for you. This is from a show called St. Louis Woman that starred, I want to say Harold Nicholas on Broadway and Lena Horne. And one of the reasons the show closed early, because it's a wonderful score, it has some great music in it, is because, well, first of all, it was really ahead of its time. It was an all-black cast, and let's realize that the 40s were not exactly the most equitable time in our nation's history. But also, Lena Horne had to leave and go make a movie, so she was one of the draws for the show, and when she left, it didn't exactly help the box office. The two big tunes for my money were Any Place I Hang My Hat Is Home, and this next one. I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you, come rain or come shine. High as a mountain and deep as a river, come rain or come shine. I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things. But don't ever bet me, 'cause I'm gonna be true if you let me. You're gonna love me like nobody's loved me, come rain or come shine. We'll be happy together, unhappy together, and won't that be fine? Days may be cloudy or sunny, we're in or we're out of the money, but I'm with you always, I'm with you rain or shine. You're gonna love me like nobody's loved me, come rain or come shine. Happy together, unhappy together, and won't that be fine? Days may be cloudy or sunny, we might be in, we might be out of money. I'm with you always, I'm with you rain, I'm with you baby, I'm with you rain, I'm with you always, I'm with you rain or shine, rain or shine. Thank you, thank you. Any Mary Lou Williams fans here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that I hear one. A friend of mine online is she's writing a biography about her. Deanna Witkowski, are any of you familiar with her? She's a wonderful pianist and vocalist, and a very fine composer in her own look. She is similar to me in that she is a Catholic music minister, which I know it's kind of William, be good.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. So, well, you know, a lot of cats in town, we all have church gigs. because
Yeah.
it ain't gonna interfere with what we do at night for the
Nope.
most part. So
Nope. I just left one after about 20 some years.
then you know, and
Yeah.
a lot,
That's why I chuckled.
and if you're in the right situation, it can be really hip.
It was good.
And Mary Lou Williams wrote Catholic masses in addition to jazz. And Deanna is a very fine musician, period, but she also writes liturgical music. And so she's writing a book about Mary Lou Williams. This is a Mary Lou Williams tune. I used to do a lot more. I want to say the lyrics are Eddie Jefferson's, but I can't really get confirmation of that. So if I'm wrong, you can, report me to Facebook for false news, even though technically we're not on Facebook, but still report it for fake news, and I can be in Facebook jail with James. He got out of
I'm not in
Facebook jail.
Facebook jail yet.
You're not
No,
there
I'm not
yet? I
in
thought
it
you
yet.
mentioned that you were.
No,
I hope
no.
you're not.
I said that I'm one negative comment away from being in Facebook jail for 24 hours.
Oh, God. Oh, what we live in a strange world.
Yes, we do.
I just can't mention white people. That's all.
Well, I'm Olive, so you're cool with me. So here we go. I
That's a
hope
good
you
one.
like this. I'm giving myself a bell tone. I do not have perfect pitch, relative pitch, and in certain areas of the country, it's kissing cousins pitch. So here we go. In
time
the
I heard that.
land of Obladi, in the land of Obladi, I met a beautiful princess from the land of Obladi. She smiled and said, Oobladia, meaning you appeal to me. I said, Oobadea do with pride. Oobadea do, let's take a ride to the land of Obladi, Obladi. She drove me straight to her castle in the land of Obladi. And there I met her two sisters, Bluey Doo and Dewey Blee. Now Bluey Doo without a doubt was twice my size. Dewey Blee, the other sister, had 3 eyes, and they both had eyes for me, Obladi. I love that beautiful princess from the land of Obladi. I said, Oobudelia weebom, baby, will you marry me? She said, Oobudelia do, ee-oo, meaning there is nothing in this world I'd rather do in the land of Obladi, Obladi. Shoot it till you did it till you got but let it do got that you do that you let it look that but you do let me straight to the altar in the land of Obladi. I had a very bad feeling. Things did not look right to me. So before I said I do, I glanced aside. They had pulled a switcheroo, they changed the bride. Oh, they can't do that to me, Obladi. I hopped a western-bound freighter from the land of Obladi, and I jumped when I saw the princess who was waiting there for me. Now we say ooh-day-ah doodly ooh-ee-oo, I will be always in love with you in the land of Obladi, Obladi. In the land of Obladi, in the land of Obladi.
It's all right.
All right, got a little tongue-tied on those scat syllables. Eddie Jefferson is going to haunt me now, and that's not cool. Maybe he'll get his old lady to come out to a virtual club and, take care of business, as we know.
Lou, by any chance, do you know a Philadelphia area piano player, singer named Kurt Martin?
We have corresponded more than a few times, but we've never met. A lot of times, folks that are on the same axe or instrument don't get to meet.
Right.
You know, it's kind of funny. So because I do a lot of singing where I'm not playing, which is a blessing for me and for the audience as well. I get to meet a lot of wonderful pianists that are not me, but the
Watch
ones
it,
that are,
Mr. Potty Mouth.
I didn't say anything. Pianists, not
Oh,
not
God.
penicists. That's a different thing. My son's not in there anymore, so I can be a little bit more, shall we say, risque. Oh,
Adult.
let me admit, there's one person there waiting. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm admitting them. So hopefully they're not Zoom bombing. I can't see a
They're
face.
backlit.
You are backlit. Thank you for the correct terminology. I don't see a name. I see Galaxy. Is that 58 or S8?
S8.
Okay, so my eyes are not completely gone. But yeah, yeah, I can be a little bit more risque, although I generally try to be, shall we say, PG-13 rated. So, but Kurt and I have corresponded. You know, I'm very lucky. I get to meet a lot of female singers. Occasionally, I even am on gigs with male singers. It doesn't happen that often, but occasionally because I play, and there's a few big bands that will carry multiple singers. And so one of the Monday Blues Jazz Orchestra, I get to work with Kevin Valentine. We're on the same gig a lot of times, which is very hip. How many of you know Kevin? Let me see a show of hands. No one. Well, he's a very good guy. His day job is a lawyer, but I don't hold that against him. You know, everyone needs a good lawyer every now and then. Hopefully, I won't need one anytime soon. James, you might need one for Facebook court, but hopefully not anytime soon.
The most I'm thinking about consulting a lawyer about is all this trying to get money out of the government stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, well, I think all of us can appreciate that. So I don't want to depress us. So let us carry on. This is a tune from a Doors album I did. I did an album of all Doors tunes, and this one was my favorite song, and it took me 3 months to figure out how to arrange it. Some of that is because I'm stupid. Some of that is because I'm a stubborn Dago Wop. I'm probably going to be in Facebook jail for denigrating Italians, but, you know, c'est la vie. I finally got an idea, boy, this would work so much better if I could just change the form. And I thought, hey, dummy, you're the one writing the arrangement. You can change the form anytime you want. So that's what I did. And we'll see if you approve.
They're a great group, the Doors, man.
They were a great. I felt when I did the album, you know, people said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because they have all the elements of jazz. They are blues based. They use modality, and they were improvisers. And to me, it's like all the elements are there for jazz. So why not take it and run with it?" And I did. And the public ran, but not towards it. So here we go.
You're funny, man.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you are down. And when you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you are a stranger. Faces ain't look so ugly when you're all alone. And all the pretty women, they seem so wicked when you're feeling so unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're feeling down, and when you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one will remember. You're strange when you're strange, when you're strange. And when you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one will remember your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to do one more for you. By the way, how is the sound for everyone out there? How's it
Great.
feel?
Sound is
I'm
great.
just gonna ask what your setup is because it's compressing a little bit, but
It's ghetto fab. I had to borrow. Macy, what are you drinking? Because it's wine o'clock in my household.
Wine o'clock here.
I love it.
It's a little red wine.
red wine. Are you a Cabernet person, a Merlot, Pinot?
Cabernet person.
My wife is too. I turned her to the dark side. She was a white wine drinker until she got to me, and then I showed her the dark side of the force.
The blood.
Opportunity. I like the white wine too.
No,
Each have their time and their moment.
you're right. But I do not subscribe to mixing it with the food that's supposed to go. If I'm going to drink wine, it has to be red. We opened up a very nice Brunello last week, and it was wonderful. But we're trying to stretch that out. You know, I still don't know who Galaxy 58 is. Is that Liz? I can't hear you. You're muted. Liz? I still can't hear you. I'll unmute you. How about that? Hold on. Let's see if I can unmute you. Here we go.
Oh,
Yes, there you are.
oh, good.
Is that Liz?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So do you have
Liz,
anything to say about Brunello's?
Okay. Oh, God, so much. First of all, just full disclaimer to the rest of the meetup. I'm actually employed by Fine Wine and Good Spirits, the PLCB.
We won't hold that against you, given the rollout of wine pickup this week.
Thanks, Sam.
I want to go back to work, but so my job in the organization is that I am one of the wine specialists. So, oh my God, I love Brunello's.
Yeah, we still have a few in the stock.
I've never met a wine I didn't like. Well,
Mhm.
well, I have, but
Oh, you have? Care to
oh
share?
God, yeah. Oh God. Oh, Lou, you're calling me out. You've known me since childhood.
Well, I'm
We
still a
all
child.
have those bad Andre memories from high school that, of course, I didn't do that because I was underage.
Well, of course I did.
Yeah,
I just kept it on the DL.
exactly. And I'm a state employee, so I can't admit to it.
No. Well, I'm allegedly a college professor, and I just claim menopause and don't remember stuff. So
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
I get fired if I tried to pull that crap.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I won't call you on it. Although this is non-public, but I
But-
completely dig.
But yes, so I love Brunello's, but I also would say I actually back you up. What you like to drink is the right wine to drink.
Mhm.
It like
So you're cool with me doing box of wine, right?
I will say I will defend boxed wine. in that number one, people are drinking wine, and number two, if someone's means are not, let us
Absolutely.
say we are in the theater, as they say in the theater, when we are between gigs,
Yes.
when things are a little tough and you have to have boxed wine, you're still drinking wine.
That's true.
And
Well, on
life
that note,
with wine is joy.
okay, you know what? So as we Italians say, says each his own. So I used to be an actor, as some of you know. Thankfully, I'm in recovery. First step to recovery is, there are no small parts, only small paychecks. But this is from a show that I did. I think it ran for about 3 months at the Riverfront Dinner Theater back in the day. And I didn't get to do this part. I was too young at the time. I was playing Freddie, so I got to sing On the Street Where You Live, which is the ultimate stalker song for those of you that I have often walked down the street before. But I mean, basically, he even says I just stand out here and wait to catch a glimpse of her. It's like, man, you get arrested for that stuff these days. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
right.
this is the song that I dearly love, and it's apropos given the fact that we're all talking heads today. So
You're right.
I've grown accustomed to her face. She almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune she whistles night and noon. Her smiles, her frowns, her ups, her downs are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I was serenely independent and content before we met. Surely I could always be that way again. And yet I've grown accustomed to her looks, accustomed to her voice. I've grown accustomed to her face. I've grown accustomed to her face. She almost makes the day begin. I've grown so used to hear her say good morning every day. Her joys, her woes, her highs, her lows, they're second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I'm very grateful she's a woman and so easy to forget. Rather like a habit one can always break, and yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air. I've grown accustomed to her face.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great.
So thank you all for coming in.
problem.
It was a lot of fun. James, to answer your question, I have my keyboard and mic going into my Bose Tone Match mixer, and then that's going into a Steinberg that is borrowed from Bob Balin, for those of you that don't know the Bob I'm referring to, and then that has a line into a laptop, and then it's going Ethernet into my router. So that's my setup. It's not ideal because I did not, plan on doing home streaming this soon. But I'm going to be gearing up probably come summer because I got to get funds in order and budget. But right now this is the best I can do. I hope it was, shall we say, not painful to listen to. Unfortunately,
Wonderful.
this
It
is
was-
me.
Yeah, this is great.
No, it was
Chuck,
delightful.
I still hear that Frank Sinatra influence on you.
Oh, there are worse influences, and I'll be having some Frank Sinatra influence whiskey later on
Okay,
tonight.
have one for me.
I'm cheers to that.
I'll drink to that. But
Who are your influences? Definitely, I hear Sinatra too in you.
I probably Mark Murphy, Mel
Yeah.
Torme,
Yeah,
John
Mark
Hendricks. Believe it or not, I very much loved early on in my career listening to some of the great Broadway leading men like John Raitt, Bonnie's dad, for those of you that aren't hip to him, Stephen Douglas of that era, Richard Kiley, Mandy Patinkin. I love Ella. Ella's an absolute
Oh
influence.
gosh, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
God, yeah.
Certainly Carmen, Sarah. But then also, I wish I could, navigate through space like Shirley Horn. It's still a struggle for me. I wish I could be as, for lack of a better word, as economical as Billy. But it's a process. I hope one day I get there, and I love the music. I love all kinds of music. To me, there's only two kinds, good and bad, and hopefully I are more on the side of the good. But it is what it is. Those are my influences. But Bennett, I can't leave out Tony
Right.
because we took from the same teacher many years apart. Bobby Darin, also from the same teacher. It was quite an
Wow.
interesting studio. I took lessons. I would go in once a week, and my lesson slot was right after Laura Branigan. And this was when Laura Branigan was Laura Branigan, like she's Gloria, self-control, and I'm in there and I'm hearing her, and she's not made up at all. You wouldn't recognize her, and she's singing just like me. My teacher, we would never work on a song. We would just do exercises for an hour. His feeling was, I'm going to teach you how to sing. What you do with your voice is up to you.
I like that.
So it was interesting, but very old school, very old school. He expected everyone, like you were expected to come in and dress slacks, dress shirt. The women were supposed to come in at least in skirt and blouse or, pants. Laura just would come in and she would have glasses on, her hair would be pulled back, very little pretense. And, and I don't know how much of that was she didn't want to get recognized on the street in New York, or how much of that was she was just being, for lack of a better word, casually comfortable. But yeah, she was very nice. And it was interesting hearing a voice that was completely different from anything you'd hear at the time. So anyway, well, thank you for coming out, and I hope it was enjoyable. Next time I do this, feel free to share and let people know. And if they DM me, I can take up to 100 people in here, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Why don't
We
you
all-
Why don't you tell us about your Venmo or your PayPal if anyone wants to make a donation or anything like that?
You don't have to today, but if you are so inclined, you can look on Facebook. I have it listed there. It's Venmo is at Louis-Lanza-3, number 3. And PayPal is paypal.me/LouLanza. And James just lost his internet connection. He texted me. So I'll answer his question offline, so to speak. But yeah, that's it. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully the song selection was to your liking. What I'm thinking of doing is, when I do this, is actually do it themes or songbooks. So like maybe I'll do a Gershwin, maybe I'll do Rogers and Hart, things of that
Lovely.
nature. Or spring, summer, what have you. We haven't had much spring in Philadelphia. Ron, I know you're in Florida. You're in perpetual spring and summer, but up here, I keep turning the heat off, and maybe it's just optimistic of me, but it keeps staying cold. It is what it is. So anyway, thank you all so much, and good night, and hope to see you again sometime. Pauline, were you holding something up?
I was trying to let you see the Miles Davis poster that I have next to my piano, but I don't think you can see it.
I can't really, because it's the light is kind of reflecting back on it.
He grew up right down the street from where I lived, and he
In
had
St.
three
Louis?
houses. Miles Davis. He had
Yeah.
three houses. He was born in Alton, Illinois, which is about 15 miles away. No, about 12 miles away. And then East St. Louis.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then his father was a very wealthy, classy dentist, and he bought a house in Millstadt, Illinois, which is totally farmland, a German community. There's some pictures I want to write up there someday. We're going to make a day, the musicians, and go see where his farm was, or the ranch. But his dad was a very beautiful man. So I was trying
that's
to
what I've read.
You can't be from here and not talk about Miles Davis every day. I mean, it's just, he's everywhere,
Yeah, well, he was great. As far as instrumentalists that influenced me, absolutely Miles was one. Again, economical with his choice of notes. It was all about the sound. He phrased like a singer.
I met him one time. I met him one time. And
what was he like?
I was so scared. My girlfriend told me, and she was a poet. She is a poet. And she says, "You're going to meet Miles Davis tonight." And I just sat in the corner and shook and just took it in. I didn't even go up and say hello. I was just scared. He was very nice. He was sitting there with his family, and it was a barbecue in the backyard. His brother Vernon was my friend, and he looked just like Miles. He was a classically trained pianist to the top level. And we used to sit at this club all night long down in East St. Louis, and Vernon would say, "Come sit next to me," and he looked exactly like Miles, and he'd talk about his brother and how they grew up.
Miles was a good-looking guy. He was a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do some Miles tunes, but it's kind of difficult to pull 4 off by myself on piano.
Yeah, right.
But all blues I can pull off. So maybe next
one
time.
One guy told me a story about him. He had made it pretty big, and he came back to St. Louis. This is probably halfway through his career, and he had made it really big. And he came back, and he was so fond of his friends that he used to practice with, and he would put them all. There were 8 of them, and he'd put them all every day. They would spend the whole day with Miles Davis, and they had 2 record players. It was before you had computers, and they would drop the needle at exactly the same time and play it. That way they had stereo. This was like back in the 60s or 50s or something.
Oh man, I would have never thought of something like that, but that makes sense.
Didn't drop the needle correctly, you had to sit in the corner and not scat all day long. But what he had them do was scat the notes correctly, and he would test them. He would say, "We're going to do it one time, then you're going to do your test." And so he would have them scat. Also, if they missed one scat note, they had to sit in the corner for the rest of the day. And this friend of mine said there was nothing more hurtful than to have to sit in the corner for the whole day.
That's intense.
Talk about the jazz police.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, on that note, that's a great story. I had never heard that story, and I was never hip to the whole idea of dropping the
Your show
needle
was
twice.
wonderful. Every note that you sing, your intonation is so beautiful, and
Oh,
you're
thank you.
crazy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyway, good night, and I hope to see you again sometime. Be sure to tell everyone how frightening it was, and that I was mean and offensive and rude and crude.
He's trying to get a big audience.
Rock, you're awesome.
Oh, well, you're
Yeah.
too kind.
Awesome.
Anyway, thank you so much and good night.
Great
Good
stuff,
night.
man.
Right.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.